Welcome to cooking cheap, easy, and tasty meal. Okay, today I'm going to make a simple cabbage and hamburger soup. So I'm going to start off with a head of cabbage. Pull some of the leaves, outside leaves off, just to get them out of the way. And since I'm not making this but for two people, I'm going to start off with just probably a quarter of this cabbage. So I'm going to cut it in half. Sharp knife is important. So there's a quarter of the cabbage. Move the other out of the way. I'm going to take it, trim the bottom off. And I'm going to take the cabbage and cut it into chunks. I'm going to take that and cut that up a little bit, just to get it into littler pieces. I'm not too worried about how small the pieces are, but just a little bit smaller. Put all the cabbage in a bowl, get it off of the cutting board. Now, this recipe calls for onion and diced tomatoes. I am going to go ahead and use frozen onions rather than cutting them, just because I have some and it'd be quicker. So I'm going to pull those together and get ready to start cooking. Okay, I'm going to start off by getting the pot warmed up a little bit. I'm going to add some olive oil. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in my frozen onions so that they'll have a little time to get ready. That's probably about a little over half a cup of frozen onions. Okay, now as it works out, I had some fresh onions that I hadn't used, so I'm going to go ahead and add them in. Just give it a little extra onion. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Let it go ahead and that's plenty. That's going to be the spice profile. It's basically Italian seasoning. I will add a little salt and pepper also. Might as well do that now. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt and about 5 or 6 grinds of pepper. There's 6. That way the seasonings will start. Yeah, you can smell them. So they're starting to mix in real well with the onions. The next thing I want to add in is my cabbage, so it can start cooking down. And to that, I am going to add a small can of tomato sauce. And a cup of beef broth, which I made with better than bouillon, which will really give it that beef flavor. Not everything has dissolved, but it will once it starts cooking. So that should be enough liquid. As it starts cooking down the cabbage. So we'll have a nice mixture of tomato and beef and onion and cabbage. Now once that begins to simmer, I'm going to add the ground beef and cover it and let it cook. This is a pretty simple soup, stew, soup, whatever you want to call it. But you want to cook the cabbage down to it's real tender, and then it's going to be really tasty. Okay, that looks like that's starting to simmer a little bit. So I'm going to take the hamburger. This is about 1/3 pound of hamburger, probably, maybe a little more. I'm just going to throw it in there. Kind of chop it up. You don't pre-cook it. You don't want to lose the fat that's in the hamburger because that's where a lot of the flavor is going to come from also. So we're just going to put it in there. And we're going to cover it. And we're going to turn the temperature down to about medium and stir it occasionally. We'll see how it does. Okay, let's stir it. It's been about 5 minutes. I turned the temperature down a little bit. The hamburger's cooking. We're going to let this simmer for about 45 minutes. Just stir it every 10 or 15 minutes. Make sure it has enough liquid, but it looks pretty good. It smells pretty good. Of course, you have to like cabbage. Okay, it's been about half an hour. Everything's coming together really nicely. It's a fairly brown soup, isn't it? I guess that's primarily the beef in it. But the cabbage is beginning to get tender and tastes pretty good. So we'll see what happens from here. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. It's looking pretty good. I would say we still got a few pieces which I suspect are probably so thick that they haven't gotten soft yet. But the mixture itself looks like it's come together real well. Let me take a piece of this and try it out. Even the big chunks are starting to get soft. I would say that's probably ready. So what I'm going to do is turn it off, let it sit for a while, cool off a little bit, and then we'll have some. This is a quick and easy ground beef and cabbage dish that you can make in about an hour. You can make it extra special if you serve it with some fresh cornbread, some corn on the cob, or maybe some green beans. Try it. I think you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give us a like. Thank you.